Let's go ahead and now do the next chart. The next chart is on TCS. Everyone, let's take a quick clicking. We started learning GST with goods and service. Goods and service has been supplied. Supply can be interstate or intrastate. Then what will happen? GST will be levied. Once GST is levied, GST has to be collected and paid by a taxable person. How will he collect and pay? He will calculate GST is equal to value of supply into rate of tax. Once you know the value, you will prepare the tax invoice, credit note, debit note. You will maintain your accounts and you will send the goods to the other person with the help of e-way bill. Now your liability will come. You will use your input tax credit. Remaining amount you will pay. When you are making the payment, you have one e-cash ledger. In e-cash ledger, TDS is also created and TCS is also created. Always remember, TDS is section number 51 and it is always 2%. TCS is always 52 and 52 made is always 1%, 0.5% CGST, 0.5% SGST or 1% IGST. The provision relating to TCS were also effective from 1st of October 2018. Everyone over here, for an example, there is a person who goes on online buyer who goes online and places an order on Flipkart. Now he will go ahead and make the payment. Flipkart has to go ahead. Flipkart will first direct the order to the supplier. Supplier will pack the goods and send it to the buyer. Now supplier will also go ahead and send the invoice to the buyer. In the invoice, if he has gone ahead and charged CGST and GST, then TDS will be deducted 0.5% CGST and 0.5% SGST on the sale price value. Sir, if he has gone ahead and charged IGST in the invoice because both of them are in different state, then in that scenario what will happen? TDS will be deducted 1%. IGST. Everyone, are we clear till here? Sir, when is TDS deducted? Listen to me very carefully. This guy will go ahead and make payment to the Flipkart. Flipkart will go ahead and deduct TCS. Government has gone ahead and told Flipkart that you have to go ahead and deduct TCS because government want to trace those people who are supplying through the e-commerce operator, and hence Flipkart or e-commerce operator has to go online and take registration as a TCS collector. TCS collector registration is a separate registration. It is PAN based registration and no TCS if amount is received directly by the supplier. He supplied, he received the amount. In that scenario, TCS will not be there. TCS provisions are applicable on the e-commerce only when payment flows through the e-commerce operator. So, e-commerce operator will have to take TCS collector registration. He will have to pay TCS, file one monthly statement which is GSTR 8 by 10th of the next month, and the amount will be made available to the supplier on the dashboard. Supplier will go ahead and do validation and the amount will be credited to his e-cash ledger. Remember one thing, TCS amount will go like this, but the remaining amount, this Flipkart will go ahead and pay it to him. Basically 50,000 was the sale value. On that 1% TCS was deducted. The remaining amount of the invoice, basically 50,000 plus the GST amount minus the TCS amount will be paid to whom? To the supplier. Are we clear, everyone? Always remember, TCS collector has to take compulsory registration because e-commerce has to take compulsory registration when it has to deduct TCS, and also the supplier through e-commerce will have to take compulsory registration if it is a supplier of goods. If it is a supplier of goods, compulsory registration. Supplier of services, sir, 20 lakh or 10 lakh ka limit is applicable, but it is not applicable in case of section number 9.5 wala supplier. Section number 9.5 may we have transportation of passenger, accommodation, housekeeping and restaurant wala services. For them you always have to remember that TCS provisions are not applicable. Can I go ahead, everyone? Now, everyone over here, e-commerce operator, when they have to go ahead and deduct TCS, they will always deduct TCS on the net value of supplies made by a supplier. If a supplier has supplied 10 lakh rupees ka supplies, returns have come 5 lakh during a period. For an example, 1 month mein 10 lakh ka supplies done, 5 lakh ka returns have come, remaining 5 lakh pay only TCS will be deducted by the e-commerce operator. And always remember, always exclude section number 9.5 wala supplies when TCS has to be deducted, because section number 9.5 wala supplies ka case mein, in case of Ola, Uber, transportation of passengers, etc. का केस में always e-commerce is liable. Housekeeping का केस में, sir, housekeeping का केस में supplier is registered, supplier is liable for registration, supplier is liable. Otherwise, e-commerce only collects and pay. So no TCS provision. Sir, accommodation service also, supplier liable for registration, supplier will go ahead and collect and pay. If supplier is not liable for registration under 22 subsection 1, then e-commerce only will collect and pay. Restaurant service also, remember always restaurant service ka case mein e-commerce operator is only liable to collect the GST and pay, and hence TCS is not there in third scenario. Sir, transportation of passengers by road, accommodation services, housekeeping services, and restaurant service. Transportation, housekeeping, accommodation, and restaurant service. Can I go ahead, everyone? Next. Now they are going ahead and asking, sir, the supplier and buyer who are there, for them, this Flipkart will go ahead and deduct TCS. Now Flipkart went ahead and told, sir, do we have to take registration in every state? Government told, yes, Baba, because if you have suppliers in every state, you will have to deduct TCS in every state. So the requirement or obligation for collecting TCS would be there in every intra or interstate supply, and hence you are going to require registration in every state or UT, basically where your suppliers are present. Next, sir, this always remember one thing, supplier can go ahead and maintain his stock in the godown of the Flipkart. If he maintains the stock in the godown of the Flipkart or e-commerce operator, then you will have to declare his place as your additional place of business. Now your stock is being maintained over here. If GST authority greater than equal to deputy commissioner wants these details, then they can go ahead and tell e-commerce operator, hey, e-commerce operator, you provide me details of supplies of goods effected through you. Who are the people who have sold the goods through you, and also the details of the stock which is maintained by you. If they go ahead and provide within 15 working days, very good. Otherwise, penalty up to 25,000 can be levied. Can I go ahead, everyone? Now, sir, if e-commerce operator has made any mistake, always remember rectification of error or mistake has to be done in the statement in which the error or mistake is noticed. If you notice an error or mistake, please go ahead and rectify in the month you notice it, subject to interest at the rate of 18%. Sir, can I go ahead and rectify any mistake? What is the time limit to rectify? In the month you notice. If you don't go ahead and notice, the maximum time limit to basically go ahead and rectify is what? Next year ka September month ka monthly return ka due date or actual date of annual return, whichever is earlier. Sir, if I don't go ahead and collect the amount, always remember non-collection or omission will attract how much penalty? 10,000 or TCS amount, whichever is higher under CGST, 10,000 or TCS amount under SGST. Right, everyone? Always remember one thing, annual return which is to be furnished by a TCS collector GSTR, annual statement GSTR 9B by 31st December of the next financial year. Always remember, a e-commerce operator will file GSTR 8. His GSTR 8 will be compared with supplier GSTR 1 to see whether supplier is telling I have sold through e-commerce 10 lakh and e-commerce is telling he has sold only 20 lakh, then why is the difference? E-commerce is telling 20 lakh, you are telling 10 lakh, the matching and mismatching will be done. See over here, they are telling supplier GSTR 1 to be matched with e-commerce ka GSTR 8. Any discrepancies shall be communicated to both of you in the same month. Right, everyone? Any discrepancy will be communicated to you, and you both, whoever has to rectify in the same month. If you don't rectify, the amount will be added to your output tax liability along with interest from the date it was due till the date of payment. Now, sir, what are the cases when e-commerce operator is not required to deduct TCS? Number one, when the transaction is out of scope of supply. For an example, the online e-commerce operator is 99acres.com. Now, 99acres.com went ahead and sold a flat, or it went ahead and sold a land. Land ka payment received. Payment will go to the supplier. In this scenario, because there is no GST only on sale of land and building, TCS also will not come. The next one over here is, sir, transaction on which whole amount is to be paid under RCM, TCS provision will not come. Transaction is nil rated, wholly exempt, non-taxable supply. Again, TCS provision not applicable. TCS provisions are not applicable when supply is done by an unregistered supplier. I hope you guys remember, supplier of service up to 20 lakh or 10 lakh are not required registration. In that scenario, TCS will not be deducted by the e-commerce operator. And fifth one over here is no TCS in case of services covered under section number 9.5, which is transportation of passengers, basically by that radio taxi, maxi cab, omnibus, or any other kind of motor vehicle. Amendment, right? Housekeeping services, accommodation service, and restaurant services. Right, everyone? Now, one more thing over here is, sir, one T-board ka circular is there. Sir, what happens in the T-board? Auctioneer will go ahead and do the auction, and suppliers will also go ahead and store the goods over here. Right, everyone? Now, buyers will go ahead and make the payment to the T-board. Buyers will make the payment to the T-board, and T-board will make the payment to them. T-board nowadays is online. T-board makes the payment to whom? To the supplier, and T-board only makes the payment to the auctioneer by collecting the amount from the buyer. When the payment goes from the e-commerce operator, which is the T-board, TCS will be collected by the T-board whenever the payment is either made to the auctioneer or the payment is made to the supplier. Supplier ko payment will be made for the goods. Auctioneer ko brokerage will be paid for doing the auction. Are we clear, everyone? So always remember, TCS shall be collected by the T board from supplier, that is the T producer, on net value of supply of goods, and from the auctioneer on the net value of supply of service, that is brokerage. I hope everyone is clear. Now, what is the difference between TDS and TCS? TDS, always remember, section number 51 May it is 2%. TCS 52 May it is always 1%. Recipient will deduct and pay. TDS may who will pay? Recipient. 4 people: Department of Central Government, State Government, Local Authority, Governmental Agency, or notified category. Here e-commerce operator will deduct and pay. Here it is obligation is only on notified recipient, which is only 4 categories, right everyone? And here it is on e-commerce who receives the payment. Always if the payment is flowing through the e-commerce, TCS provisions are applicable. TDS is only when value is greater than 2.5 lakh. Value. TDS and TCS is always on the value, not on the GST. If e-commerce is collecting, then TCS will be applicable. There is no value limit. 1 rupee also collected by e-commerce, TCS provision will be applicable. Here return is GSTR 7. Here the return is GSTR 8. It is not called a return. It is called a monthly statement. I hope you guys enjoyed the chapter. We will go ahead and close our discussion over here. Again, remember, TDS provisions and TCS provisions are B graded. 3 to 4 mark they can go ahead and ask in the exam. 2 mark might be a big MCQ they can go ahead and ask in the exam. I hope I've gone ahead and covered everything. Yes, sir. I will go ahead and close all my discussion on TCS over here. Have a great day, everyone. Take care. Bye, guys. Bye, everyone. Done.